Wow, the CPI reading came out at 9.1%. In today's video, we're going to go ahead and talk about what that CPI reading means for the economy as well as what that means for Bitcoin. We're also going to cover a few other sort of events going on in the Bitcoin world that might affect the Bitcoin price in the near future. Now, as usual, I am Mac from Cryptstar Staking, your number one Tezos bakery and number one source of Bitcoin news on the tube. I'm coming to you guys live here from Oregon in my backyard. It is a very beautiful day out today, so I just want to share that with you guys. It's just amazing weather here in Oregon, so yep, time to sit back and relax. I have some chimes over here, so you might hear some beautiful chimes going on while I'm talking today. So yes, let's go ahead and jump right in. The CPI reading came out at 9.1%. Now, a lot of people were talking about the CPI reading coming in around this percentage, or nobody really was expecting it to go quite as high as 10% yet, but there are a lot of people talking about the actual inflation being more in the double digits right now, and that the core CPI reading doesn't actually, cover all of the different parts that should be inside of the CPI to really calculate inflation. So just understand that it doesn't actually cover, things like rent prices and different counties and different places across the U.S. It only really counts the core inflation. So basically what this means is the Fed is quite behind the curve. They need to go ahead and suck in all the excess liquidity from all of the high-risk assets and all of the stock memes and everything like that. So what they're going to do is they're going to raise the actual interest rate to 0.75, or raise it up by 0.75 or even 1%. I do know a lot of people are talking about the actual core inflation going up to be over 20% in the next year or so. So it's quite possible, if the Fed doesn't decide to go ahead and Volcker the economy right now, that inflation could keep moving to a worse and worse direction, and that we could head into stagflation. Now, basically what stagflation means is that the price of products keeps going up, so workers have to have their wage going up, workers have to keep increasing their wages, and that will actually lead to wage inflation, and they kind of just keep going and going and going. And inflation, it is a sort of like a virus. It just keeps spreading and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the only option is to use blunt force tools of the Federal Reserve to go ahead and hit the inflation right in the stomach, so that way it'll go ahead and pick up all that excess liquidity, and we can basically have a more stable economy. Now, for Bitcoin, that means, since it's a high-risk asset, it means that a lot of people are not going to be investing in Bitcoin. They're going to be pulling out of Bitcoin to pay for utilities, for gas, for a car, or whatever they need to actually survive. And things that they don't need to survive, they're going to go ahead and pull away from those. So it's quite possible that we'll see the dollar getting a lot stronger here in the upcoming months and years even. So I still am very bullish for Bitcoin in the long run, as the U.S. keeps pushing more and more U.S. dollars into the economy, and if the Federal Reserve doesn't actually tighten its grip like it should, this could lead to a really, really crazy inflation cycle, which is actually, the worse it gets, the better it gets for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin inflation is set. Now, the biggest issue with Bitcoin is that the road to adoption is still quite a ways to go, and we still need easy ways to go ahead and on-ramp more people, more users into Bitcoin before we can really see that mass adoption we need in order for Bitcoin to actually replace fiat currency. Now, another big thing going on with Bitcoin right now is that the Mt. Gox has recovered 150,000 Bitcoin, which means all that Bitcoin is going to be released on the market here probably in the next coming months. And there's also rumors that the miners of Bitcoin have not fully capitulated yet, so there's quite a big possibility that the miners will start dumping on the market as well. Now, I don't think this will happen in the next month or so, but it could quite possibly happen in, I would say, between 1 and 3 months. We could see another huge drop for Bitcoin from 18,000 to about 14,000. And this is, in my opinion, is the best buying spot for Bitcoin, possibly between $12,000 and $14,000. So if any of you guys out there are still waiting to go ahead and jump in and purchase Bitcoin, I would go ahead and wait for this huge drop and then go ahead and jump in then. There's no point in taking unnecessary risks right now. And even with the economy the way it is, you should probably save that money to go ahead and pay for things that you actually need, and not pay for things that speculative investments right now. And I think Bitcoin in the long run, it's going to reach $100,000, $200,000, even $400,000. But it's not going to happen right now. the economy needs to recover first, and for the economy to recover, Bitcoin needs to crash a little bit further. That's because the main reason is because the Feds need to increase interest rates, and they might go all the way up to 20% at some point in time, and this would create an even further crash in the Bitcoin price, even down to $10,000 or $8,000. And this is only if the Fed does not crash the price right now. So it's kind of, everything is on the wall right now. It's much better to kind of wait, sit back, and sort of let the dust settle. And that's one reason why I kind of wanted to do this video outside, so you guys can realize, Bitcoin isn't your whole life. You do have many other things. You have a beautiful scenery that, I don't know, God created for us, but it's here for you to enjoy. It's 4K. It's more than 4K. It's like 10K or 100K, whatever. It's perfect resolution. You can enjoy it, and you only have a certain amount of time in this life to go ahead and live it. So it's best to go ahead and go out and enjoy while you can during the bear markets, and during the bull markets you can try and make as much cash as possible. So yes, basically, if the Fed decides not to raise the basis points by 100 basis points in the next cycle, which is on the, I think, July 26th to 27th this month, they're probably going to do a 75 basis point hike or a 125 basis point hike. Now, if they really want to save the US dollar and the US economy really like in the near term, and we don't want to go into a long-term recession, we do need the Federal Reserve to go ahead and raise the basis points by at least 150 points on the 26th and 27th. But that's not going to happen. They don't want to go ahead and destroy the stocks. The stock prices, they are much too close to Wall Street for that to actually happen. So I'm definitely thinking that's not going to happen unless some political pressure from Biden or from outside forces or from the US citizens comes in and pushes them to go ahead and raise rates even more. Basically, the three things we are waiting for right now to go ahead and, at least what I'm waiting for to go ahead and jump all into Bitcoin and other cryptos, is I'm waiting for, one, the Fed to kind of come out and say, hey, we've hit peak inflation, and to realize that inflation is not transitory. Two, I'm waiting for the war in Ukraine to kind of settle down a bit. We don't know what's going on with that, and there could be a lot of other catalysts that we can't really calculate right now that could affect the Bitcoin price going on with the war in Ukraine. Another thing I'm waiting for is the miners to go ahead and dump their Bitcoin and capitulate. We have a lot of miners right now, and we're going to have to settle down to a few of the strongest miners before Bitcoin can actually reach its real bottom. Now, another thing I'm waiting for is the Mt. Gox 150,000 Bitcoin to be dumped on the market. Now, we don't have any schedule for this. There was just a press release coming from the Japanese company that said, we are preparing to go ahead and give out the recovered Bitcoin to our clients. But they didn't actually give a time period or anything like that for the date. I think this came out on July 9th. So this could be coming up in the next couple of months. So basically, it's just kind of a great time to either build, your decentralized application, or to go ahead, enjoy the weather, or, explore some other interests in life, That's it for today's video. I really hope that helped you guys out, give you guys a general overview of what's going on with the economy and with Bitcoin. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Peace out.
Bro, we need to pump it. Everybody, go to Twitter and hashtag the things. Pump it. Pump it real good. We need a good pump. Everybody deserves a nice Tezos pump.